Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the high-stakes, almost invisible technological rivalry in quantum sensing between the United States and China, all based on a fascinating new report from the International Institute for Strategic Studies.
Okay, so let's jump right in. To really get this, we first need to understand what's at stake on this new unseen battlefield. And look, this is not science fiction. We're talking about a technology that is so incredibly sensitive, it could literally rewrite the rules of military strategy. I mean, the entire point of a stealth bomber or nuclear sub is that you can't see it coming. Quantum sensing threatens to just erase that advantage, making undetectable detectable.
So, what even is quantum sensing? Well, think of it like giving our military sensors a genuine superpower. It uses the really weird but amazing rules of quantum physics to see the world with an accuracy that we've just never had before. It can pick up on these tiny, almost imperceptible disturbances in things like gravity or magnetic fields. And the military applications for this? They're huge. We're not just talking about finding subs. This tech could let ships and planes navigate with absolute precision, even if GPS gets jammed or knocked out. It could give commanders on the ground a perfectly clear picture of everything around them. And, yeah, as we said, potentially make stealth technology obsolete. The implications are just enormous.
So, with the potential that massive, you can probably guess what's happened, right? It's kicked off an incredibly fierce competition between the world's two biggest powers. And the goal for both sides is something the report calls discovery primacy. Now, this isn't just about getting a little bit ahead. The idea here is that being the first one to truly master and deploy a technology like this gives you a decisive, maybe even war-winning strategic edge.
So let's look at the contenders, because their motivations are actually pretty different. For the United States, it's all about maintaining its long-held military tech advantage. For China, it's bigger. They see quantum science as the key to a whole new industrial revolution, a chance to leapfrog ahead. And President Xi himself has called for a massive national push. Okay, so the stakes are incredibly high. How do these two giants actually stack up against each other? Well, the report gives us a really clear, evidence-based comparison. We can really break this down by looking at three key battlegrounds where this race is being fought: their national strategies, their pipelines for talent, and their economic engines. So let's start with the master plan. The U.S. has what the report calls a powerful and highly developed system. It's this collaborative triple helix, which is a fancy way of saying government, private industry, and top universities are all working together. And they've been doing it for decades. China, on the other hand, relies on a more centralized, top-down approach. But the report points out it actually lacks a public national plan and has even been criticized inside China for not being as developed as it should be. All right, next up, the talent pipeline. Because, this amazing technology doesn't invent itself. And here you see a really interesting contrast. The U.S. system, with its independent universities, got a head start, offering the first quantum degrees way back in 2015. China's system was a little later to the party, only authorizing its first undergrad degree in this field in 2021, and it often has to rely on bringing home experts who got their education in the West. And, this data just lays it all out, doesn't it? When you look at the top 20 postgraduate programs in quantum information science worldwide, U.S. institutions hold half the spots, 10 of them. Then you have its allies, like the UK, Canada, and Australia, holding another 9. China has just 1 on that list. And finally, there's the economic engine, the actual ability to take this research and turn it into real-world products you can deploy. And on this, the report does not mince words. It says the U.S. industrial base is a world's leader in getting quantum tech out of the lab, thanks to huge private sector investment. China's industry, by contrast, is described as lagging significantly behind. And if you just follow the money, the research funding tells a really similar story. America's big government agencies funded almost double the number of quantum sensing papers as China's top agency. And then, when you add in the research funded by key U.S. allies, well, that gap gets even wider. Now, here's a really crucial point. Even when you look at the patents being filed inside China, a surprising number of the top filers aren't Chinese companies. The top 3 are from South Korea and Japan. And that suggests a pretty deep reliance on international technology, even for developments happening within China's own borders.
And this brings us to what the report identifies as the real X factor in this race, something you can't always capture with raw numbers about domestic investment, and that is America's allies. You see, the United States isn't competing alone here, not by a long shot. It can draw on this incredible, robust network of technologically advanced partners, from the UK and Germany to Japan and Australia, who are all making their own major contributions to the field. And when you put all of their efforts together, the result is just staggering. The combined scientific research output on quantum sensing from the US and its key allies is more than 4 times greater than China's. That collaborative power is a massive strategic advantage.
So, after comparing their master plans, their talent pipelines, their industries, and their alliances, what's the final verdict from the report? Who's actually winning this quantum arms race?
Well, the conclusion is pretty direct. The report finds that, based on all the evidence, the U.S. is in a much, much stronger position than China to achieve and then deploy breakthroughs in this field for national security over the next decade. But, and this is a really critical warning, this race is far from over. The report cautions that China could still achieve a surprise breakthrough in 1 or 2 very specific areas. It's the wild card that could change the game overnight, even if the overall picture is stronger for the U.S.
And this reflects a reality that's acknowledged right at the very top, in Beijing. President Xi himself has talked about the country's many weak links in this area and the strategic need to find the breakthrough point. That's a sign that they know, despite all the ambition and all the investment, that they still face some pretty big challenges.
And this all leaves us with a final, really provocative question. The very collaboration that gives the U.S. and its allies their edge is built on a tradition of open international science. But as this tech competition gets more intense and nations start putting up more walls, how do you protect your national security without stifling the very collaboration that science needs to move forward? It's a fundamental tension right at the heart of this new global contest.